Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so we have the STR-LR TURLES EZA live on both versions of the game. It came out earlier than events normally do for some reason, but we've got his EZA done. Very, very easy, because it's Goku family, so very quick and very easy to get the 10 stages of that done. So we have our boy fully EZA'd here. We're going to show him off and see what he can do. We've got him full level 10 links, of course. I've gone for, I didn't really change his build much from pre-EZA. He's basically full additional. He gets effective against all types after EZAing, so I basically changed the little bit of crit that he had to dodge. I think additional is definitely going to be good for him. It used to be good because of the stun chance, but now he does actually have decent super attack effects. So his leader skills, Terrifying Conquerors 4 key 150 or Extreme STR 4 key 100%. Obviously the leader skill not necessarily super important. But his super attacks after his EZA, raise attack and defense for 1 turn, colossal damage, high chance to stun on the 12 key, and then greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, mega colossal damage, and a great chance to stun. So obviously any additional supers that he gets, he is raising his attack and defense again. So additional supers obviously can be very, very good. Then his passive is attack and defense 180. He gets key 1 up to 5 and an additional attack 10% up to 50 and damage reduction 10% up to 50 with each Terrifying Conquerors or Planetary Destruction ally on the team, depending on which category has more members. So it doesn't say self-excluded, so it always counts himself. So it'll always have 10%. And then basically you need to build the team. It's 5 allies in total, including him. So that means you have like 1 unit on your team that could not be in the category and he'll still get the full buff. Or obviously it depends who you're running as the leaders, because here we're running him on the AGL Frieza team, which is one of his 3 200% teams in the game. It's AGL Frieza, Physical TURLES, or AGL Ginyu. So Frieza being the newest and most meta relevant out of those 3. Because the Frieza friend is also in those categories, it means technically I could have 2 units on my team that are not in those categories, right, and it'd still be fine. So he's going to have 50% extra attack, 50% damage reduction, and 5 extra key. Then he gets an additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super, and if there's an Earthbred Fighters enemy, gets an additional attack 50%. So we are fighting a Goku event, so we're going to get extra attack against him. He gives Terrifying Conquerors or Planetary Destruction allies 3 key, attack and defense 50%. Then we get an additional 6 key and attacks effective against all types when the enemy is in attack down or stunned. So a lot of the tougher bosses now can be attack lowered, so that can be quite useful. Or he just straight up gets attacks effective against all types when key is 20 or more. And then he gets guaranteed crits and an additional super when key is 24. So we've started off with a fairly bad rotation for him. I mean, we do have big bad bosses active, which is good. Starting off at 317k here. So after the 1 super, we're going to go up to just over 450, which isn't crazy, but then we do have 50% damage reduction to kind of back that up. The rotations aren't really set up the way I would like them to be, so I'm going to float off Harudegan here. And then I'm going to have to float off Amand and Raisin from the other rotation. I mean, the thing is, realistically, on a lot of these... Was that 21 million turn 1? Okay. Alright, so 21 million with the 18 key super. We only got an additional normal. And we didn't get the hidden potential. I mean, that is the hidden potential because we didn't get enough key. Eats the super for double digits. I mean, it's phase 1 against this Goku. It's pretty easy and type advantage. But yeah, 21 million with just 3 links active, including Big Bad Bosses, which of course is one of the better links anyway. But yeah, he's going to, once he gets some of these other links active and a bit of support, that's going to go pretty crazy. So that's interesting. But yeah, on a lot of these teams, normally, if we're not doing a showcase, he's going to be a floating support unit. So he definitely can be very, very useful on some of these teams. Obviously, the Frieza team, AGL Frieza, when he came out, I think people underrated him just because of how wonky his team could be. But, like, obviously, he's really, really good. As long as we don't get slot 1 supered here, this will be fine. So we got TURLES' intro, which is not something we get very often. Which means we have the extra attack buff now as well for the whole team. So Frieza gets to get at least 1 attack off here to start building up, and then kills Goku, and we can move on to the next stage here. We're getting very lucky with our rotations, because like we don't have a slot 1 unit again, but fortunately it's fine. So we can get TURLES to go first. We're getting the support from Kid Buu now, so we're starting off at 384k, and I can get the 24 key. So attacks effective against all types, guaranteed crit, guaranteed additional super. So he's getting what? 50% on super takes him up to almost 600k. Then the guaranteed additional is going to put him up to like 750 something. If we get the additional from the hidden potential, then he gets up to what, like around 900k defense with 50% damage reduction. So obviously he's not going to be a character that is like still just eating all the big boss super attacks to the face, but he is going to be tanking basically all normals. Almost 30 million attack stat on this turn as well, which will be guaranteed crit and effective against all types. Then we get the guaranteed additional 16 point, so basically 17 mil. So that's 47 million attack stat worth of attack from him in this turn. And then we get the hidden potential, but it's only a normal. And that's him almost dead already. That's crazy. And then, of course, we have his active skill, which we haven't talked about yet. Now, the active skill effect is a bit disappointing overall, I guess, when we think about some of the crazier active skills in the game. Because it just gives him key, right? It just makes him have 24 key guaranteed. But considering that having the 24 key does give him these very good like effects, then it is still very useful, and it can be used more than once. But yeah, it's good to see these guys at this interesting level. Of course, Harudegan sells. Because yeah, TURLES Army was one of my favorite yellow coin LRs when they came out in the game. 1.2 million, amazing. Good work, Harudegan. Man, Harudegan can be such a good unit, but what a loser. I hate this new loading screen as well. Why can't I permanently turn this off?
Alright, let's do this.
Goddamn Harudegan. 1.2 million. I mean, the God Goku stage isn't even that difficult, technically. And he is taking 1.2 million. Yeah, Harudegan, not a real one. Only TURLES is. Okay, so we got to get through. Of course, we have another terrible starting rotation. Double Frieza and Amond and Raisin, who I want on the other rotation, so ideally I have to do this. Well, I say ideally, this isn't an ideal situation at all. Also, Frieza can't even get any key. I'll do this though, just so you at least get a super. Oh, 240, nice. That's what we get for having no links active, I suppose. On that last run, we had the Frieza in slot 1 take double digits. I was like, okay, cool. Put Frieza in slot 1, at least in this first phase. It won't be so bad. Bruh. Yeah, first of all, Frieza is really good. Obviously, he's not a slot 1 unit, as we saw here. But it's just his team, which is the letdown. I mean, this build of it is certainly interesting. It's funny that Harudegan obviously can be really good, but completely sold us out on that last run. Because, yeah, this team certainly will be interesting. And remember that for the TURLES Army LR, it's Planetary Destruction or Terrifying Conquerors. So Terrifying Conquerors is a team that gets buffed fairly regularly when big, like, extreme characters come out. I say that as if they do come out regularly, but it means whenever we get celebrations of, like, a Cooler, Frieza, like, if we get a baby New Lord Slug, like, the categories that get buffed quite a lot for most extreme characters who aren't Broly, essentially. But yeah, it's funny because I've had runs where Harudegan just dodges absolutely everything and looks super good. But yeah, so I mean, I guess we get an example of this turn, which we didn't get to see. So TURLES with physical TURLES, every link except legendary power. The active skill, Fruit of the Tree of Might, activated when HP is 60% or less or starting from turn 8. So it means we can use it here straight away, which gives us the guaranteed 24 key.
One who regularly dines on the fruit of the Tree of Might? Looks like victory is mine.
So we'll do that. And then obviously he's going to kill. So yeah, 24 key linked up with physical TURLES. 32.4 million. Damn. That is crazy. And yeah, obviously because it's 24 key, guaranteed crit and effective against all types. He has the KO screen, which is very cool. Right, I think we just go ahead and use this here just so we can get back to the next TURLES turn. Which Frieza has the most defense? The friend one.
Do you want to taste the power of the ultimate android?
Ultimate android. Shout out to Top Man for subscribing to the channel. Right, so yeah, Frieza's still taking some damage, but yeah, that's the thing. If it's one of the things that would have been really good, I guess it doesn't matter because it gives him 24 key, but the active skill being an orb change, because yeah, not having a heal is a bit awkward. It's funny because the physical TURLES heals on super. And realistically, you can imagine the reason why he heals on super is because he eats the fruit in the super attack animation. But yeah, the LR TURLES doesn't have a heal. Frieza up to 18 million here. Look at this ridiculous, like... This is why Frieza is so good. The amount of crazy stuff he can do, like, in one turn. Alright, but this is the rotation that we wanted to see. So we've got you in slot 1. So we have 4 links with you. Destroyer of the Universe, Brutal Beatdown, Thirst for Conquest, Fierce Battle. Destroyer of the Universe is like the TURLES specific link, right? That only TURLES and his banner units have. But it gives 25% attack and 15% defense. And these guys also support... is it Planetary Destruction? Yeah. So this guy, starting out at 417k. So he's going to be basically at like 1 million defense once we've done all of the super attacks. Well, if we get the 3rd super. So we can go ahead and do that. And then I guess if we use this, because it counts as an attack, doesn't it? Because you get build up for each super attack performed, which I'm assuming, I believe, does count the active skill. So we use physical TURLES as active skill.
You know what this is? A moon. Burst open and mix! Now, let me see your true form.
Get the ape slap here. Yeah, actives count as supers for like passives that say like after supering. That's why you see units will get their like post super defense and stuff. Right, so yeah, 417k. So let's see how we get on here. These guys with the dodge. Hey look, they did what Harudagan couldn't in slot 1 versus AGL God Goku. Alright, obviously they're not going to do a lot of damage, but they're there for the defense anyway, so that's fine. 34.8. So basically 35 million attack stat here. And bear in mind, they're supporting everybody 50%. They have 50% damage reduction. Get the guaranteed additional, which is almost a 20 mil. Ridiculous. Now, can we get the hidden potential additional super? Oh, only a normal again. I mean, it's still good. And then TURLES at basically 10 mil. Man, I wish these guys... I mean, their EZA, if it had released earlier, we do run the risk of it not being very good. Because 2023 was a very hit or miss year for EZAs. But it's a shame that these guys didn't EZA while physical TURLES was still, like, a super relevant character. Because I don't know if he dies to this. He has... I think he does have almost his full 20% damage reduction. 473. I guess that's not terrible. But bear in mind that, like, this God Goku, as hard as he does hit, he's, like, the weakest of the superhero, like, Blue Zone stages. And he still takes that much damage. So, physical TURLES, unfortunately, not all that anymore. And yeah, considering the fact that God Goku takes considerably less damage from non-tech units. So these guys, obviously them being STR doesn't matter because at 24 key they're effective against all types and guaranteed critting. So it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, the fact that they did as much damage as they did when this Goku has such a ridiculous damage reduction from non-tech units, it's pretty good. God, Rudigan. Why is he like this? I use the item literally just to get through this turn to make sure we get to see another TURLES turn, but this guy, I tell you. Sometimes you get these really good runs where he does dodge like everything and he just looks like an absolute goat, and then, as we saw here, sometimes not so much. But yeah, instead they gave the Go Bros an EZA during the TURLES celebration, and they got a very, like, mid EZA. So I guess in that respect we can be happy that the TURLES army didn't EZA then, because they potentially would have got that weird EZA instead of the Go Bros, so I don't know. But yeah, Frieza doing his thing, just casually dropping multiple 20 million attack stats in one turn. And the friend one has one dupe, by the way, so this isn't even like him rainbowed. He just did 4. He just basically did like 80 million plus attack stat worth of attacks in one turn. And I didn't even use the active skill. So Frieza definitely is very good. It's just the fact that his team is kind of wonky. And obviously normally we would be running the team like, you know, with TURLES army floating, but this is definitely a good setup. So we get all of our links. So these guys only share the 4 links, so having a character to give them big bad bosses is obviously very, very good. Puts us at like 400k. We don't have the best rotation for key here though. Oh, we're 1 key short. Yeah, that's I guess the other downside is if you're below the HP restriction, the fact that you can't start using the active skill for the LR TURLES until turn 8 is a bit crazy. Like on release, that was something that was definitely a bit wild for him. I mean, he does have the HP restriction, which has no turn restriction. So, like we saw here, like turn 2, you can just use it straight away if you're below 60% HP. But obviously, that's not going to be the case, okay? Especially against some of the difficult bosses. You're either a much higher percentage of HP or you're, you know, low or dead. So it's not something you're going to see necessarily all the time. But some of the slightly longer events, I guess you would get to turn 8. But I mean, the next turn for TURLES would be turn 8. But this is my 55% Frieza now. Got the Roshi active skill thing, completely non-TURLES vibe OST. Alright. Could we actually kill him here? Yeah, Brody will be a glass cannon again. Man, hopefully we get a proper, like, super tanky Broly, so that movie boss. Because one of the problems with a lot of these extreme teams is just the lack of really, really good slot 1 units. And, like, we see that on this team, right? Like, Rudigan can be a complete fraud. Amanda and Raisin are okay, but, like, they're not going to be super good at tanking the toughest bosses. Yeah, we need a Broly who just actually is a ridiculous slot 1 beast. I really want him to have like the super attack nullification as well from the Kamehameha, like where he tanks the Kamehameha to the face. So like the animation could just be like an explosion cloud and then he just like walks out of it. Like, because yeah, we really need like a super good slot 1, very tanky Broly. And then as long as he's got the right name for like not, you know, for actually being able to link with the AGL one from the anniversary, that rotation would be super good if the new one is a really good slot 1 tank, because the anniversary Broly's not particularly good in slot 1. So the 2 of them together as a rotation would be really good. Hopefully we can kill him this turn, because he does have that damage reduction, but Frieza's going to do a lot of damage. TURLES has the potential to get a bunch of supers at the end as well. Yeah, Frieza takes him out. So you can see it at the TURLES army against the final phase here, the physical phase. We have Kid Buu on rotation as well. So See, the good thing about the active skill is that you don't have to worry about the key orbs. So, use the active skill, get 24 key, then it means you can just pick up, unless you're like trying to get heals or like trying to go for the Dokkan attack, it means we can just grab like one orb. And then grab those for you. Alright, so final turn here for the TURLES army, final attack stats. This unit, I think, very, very good. I'm definitely impressed with their EZA. As, you know, considering, again, their role for the team is that they're going to be a floating support unit. And yet they can hit like 30-odd million attack. 38 million on this turn, because they got all the extra support. They're being supported by Amanda and Raisin and Kid Buu. So, I mean, they're just going to kill Goku here. 21.5 on the additional 12 key. That's ridiculous. And so, yeah, bear in mind, they're not going to have all that support if they are a third slot floating unit. But, like, that's the kind of thing they'll be doing. Just floating in the third slot, supporting the team, but dropping, like, ridiculous amounts of damage. In events where you can stun, which isn't that many. Like, that will obviously be handy as well. So, yeah, overall, I would say that these guys got a really, really good EZA. We tested them out in this stage because it's a bit of a longer one. We get to see multiple turns of them, see the kind of numbers they can do. But we will obviously take them into some of the tougher events and test them out a little bit later on as well. But yeah, there you go. That was the LR TURLES Army Rainbow level 10 links EZA. Super, super good unit. Let me know what you guys think of their EZA down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.